you see where Jack and his daughter and son
Yes.
the rope
Oh,
behind
behind
her.
it. Okay.
Tell her to come up to this bench. When was the rabbi say, well, it's Friday night, let's meet? Is that after the opening?
Yes. Well, it's actually usually after the candle blessing.
Oh, it is? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Before the cutting. These are very pretty. Did Naomi do this?
So we're missing
Bless you.
Rebecca Glazer and Letty. But they're further down. And if Letty isn't here, then I'll read it. What is that? Come on. Shabbat Hagadol, which is the Shabbat focus. But it's also,
Great Shabbat.
today was the day that the people of Spain were set.
From the Inquisition. I just watched that movie, Goya's Ghost.
What?
Goya's Ghost. I just watched it. It's about the Inquisition and the three individuals from the Inquisition prisons. Wow, please see that.
Okay. Let's start because it's. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I want to pre-thank all of the contributors to tonight's service. Bobby. Noelle Smart, Naomi Estrada, Dara Leffman, Tess Mansfield, Lisa Wolf, Blanco Carrasco, Violet Showery, Rebecca Glazer, Katie Zeidman, Donna Leffman, Letty Stevens, and Diane Plessant. Thank you, women, for standing up to be a participant in the Shabbat service for tonight. It is also Shabbat Hagadol, which is the Shabbat before Passover. So it's the big Shabbat. It is also, I saw on Facebook, the day that Spain kicked the Jews out of Spain. The Spaniards, the king and queen, kicked the Jews out of Spain. So while this is Shabbat Hagadol, this is also a chance to think about the awful problem of that happening to people, but since that happened, how welcoming our congregations are with lots of different people. Sephardim, Ashkenazim, Anusim. So let us remember that as we go through our prayers and go through this evening's service. I would like to ask Noelle to come up. You guys were given these nice little booklets, and this is what we wanted to share this with you. These are readings that we came up with for this service. So please come up and read the reading.
God, help us now to make the new Shabbat. After noise, we seek quiet. After crowds of indifferent strangers, we seek to touch those we love. After concentration on work and responsibility, we seek freedom to meditate, to listen to our inward selves. We open our eyes to hidden beauties and the infinite possibility in the world you are creating. We break open the gates of reservoirs of goodness and kindness in ourselves and others. We reach towards unholy, perfect moment of Shabbat.
Please turn to page 10 and join together in singing Ma Yafeh Hayom. How lovely today is. Shabbat Shalom.
Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
I'd like to ask Naomi and Katie to come up to the bima. Naomi will be reading the reading too. And Katie will be lighting the candles of Shabbat.
To light candles in all the worlds, that is Shabbat. To light the Shabbat candles is a soul leap pregnant with potential into a splendid sea, and in it the mystery of the fire of sunset. Lighting the candles transforms my room into a river of light. My heart sets in an emerald waterfall.
Baruch atah
Please rise.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, lehadlik ner, shel Shabbat.
You may be seated. We are now on page 6. Donna Leffman will lead the reading.
We enter the sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into the sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer.
I'd like to ask Katie to come up and read on page 16.
Sing praise to Adonai with the lyre and melodious song. With trumpets and the blast of the horn, raise a shout before Adonai, the ruler. Let the sea and all within it thunder, the world and its inhabitants. Let the rivers clap their hands, the mountains sing joyously together at the presence of Adonai, for God is coming to rule the earth. God will rule the world justly and its people with equity.
In introducing our song Lecha Dodi, thank you, Dara and Tess, for coming to read the reading number 3.
Wake, my beloved, awake and arise.
You cause me to breathe deeply. My pulse quickens when you are near. You are a bridge across the ages, extending beyond all time.
A stirring of emotion overwhelms. From the secrets of your soul to the scars your heart hides, you are a part of me which cannot be disguised.
In the land of our forebears, you arrived as a beacon. Without you, I am lost. Without me, your purpose fades.
You are love as I am love. We are two of a kind.
You are loved as I am loved. Each a gift the other will find.
As one we endure,
And as one we survive.
as one we awaken,
And as one we arise.
as one we are Israel.
And as one we are alive.
Lecha Dodi starts on page 20.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ki hishmi'anu el ha'miluchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, L'shem u'tiferet ve'litihila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabela. Likrat Shabbat, Lechu v'nelcha, Ki hi mikol ha'bracha, Merosh miketem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tihila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabela. Hitoreri, Kiva orech uri, shir daberi, Kevod Adonai, alayich nivila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabela.
Boi v'shalom, ateret balav, gam b'simcha u'tzolam. Tov emunei am segulav, boi kala, boi kala.
Lecha Dodi,
Teach me, O God, a prayer, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of a withered leaf. We're on page 27. On ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. If you can, please rise and turn to page 28 for Shema and its blessings.
Lie, 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 lie,
God who brings the evenings, you are the master of transitions, the artist of Ma'aruvim, and we, your people, we are called Ivrim, those who pass from one place to the next, who travel to the edge, who seek your in the in-between, we and you forever becoming, rolling dusk into twilight and darkness into dawn. As you preside over time, the sun rises up and bows low. The moon stretches out and curls in. Our bodies wax and wane. Everything is on the move. Particles flip and whirl. Light floods in and fades away. You offer us sparks of holy time, soul and space. When Shabbat comes in stillness, we breathe. We are whole. We are here.
Please turn to page 33.
Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All of these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form?
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Please turn to page 40. And Blanca Carrasco will introduce the Mija Moja from the reading number 5 in the booklet.
Mija Moja by Adrienne Rich. Prospective immigrants, please note, either you will go through the door or you will not go through. If you go through, there is always a risk of remembering your name. Things look at you doubly, and you must look back and let them happen. If you do not go through, it is possible to live worthily, to maintain your attitudes, to hold your position, to die bravely. But much will blind you, much will evade you. At what cost? Who knows? The door itself makes no promises. It is only a door.
Page 43, and Rebecca Glazer will read.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will.
Ta Adonai, Kat Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael, Ve'al Yerushalayim. As we prepare for our tefillah, I'd like to give you some notes before we start. We are going to be singing the Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, and then we will have two readings that reflect on the Avot and the Giberot. So if you would like silently to pray on your own, where you are, you can, but There's also poetry going to be read in its stead of the prayer. Please rise for tefillah. Na 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 Adonai.
Na 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 Satai Tiftar. Na 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 Ulfi Yagid. Ulfi Yagid Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Satai Tiftar. Na 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 Ulfi Yagid. Ulfi Yagid Tehilatecha.
I'd like to ask Violet Shari up to read readings 6 and readings 7.
Blessed are you, our God, and God of our fathers and mothers, who guide my fingers to strike the match as I attempt to light the shamash, for the first time, and who fumble with words that are immigrants, born in the Holy Land, but live hidden in the back of their throats. God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and God of Jacob, who spin me round and round in the most powerful aura I've ever been in, thousands of years, right here, grasping me in strong arms, while we dance at my bat mitzvah, God of Sarah, God of Rebekah, God of Rachel, and God of Leah, who passed their crowns of ringlets to me, each curl mapping my past and identifying my tribe as Yel. She who is strong, who is powerful, she who will protect with life and death. The great God, mighty and awesome, God on high, from laughter as I paint the faces at the Purim Carnival, apologizing when I smudge the whiskers that adorn a little boy's cheeks, who does acts of loving kindness and creates everything and remembers the loving acts of my grandfather and grandmother, who faithfully attend the massive Seder organized by Family Tree, branches of us coming together to thrive in the country that harbored us, the children of their children, a ruler who helps, saves, and shields. Blessed are you, my father Abraham and my mother Sarah. Overwhelmed by the awesome power and mystery of the universe, we seek help to overcome our innate weaknesses. Science has chipped away at the vast unknown that pervades our world, but much remains that is still beyond our understanding. We feel the wind in our faces and move through the rain and snow that swirls about us. But we are barely able to predict them and cannot control them. The living are sustained by marvels of medicine, perhaps divinely inspired, but accomplished through much time and effort.
Go ahead.
Captives are freed after human intervention, and life persists despite incredible odds. Our existence is rooted in life and death, but they are still beyond our comprehension. We seek salvation, but know not its source or dimensions. We are mere humans, seeking support beyond ourselves.
And on page 52, you are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. And we can spend a few minutes in silent meditation. will now pray a prayer of peace, a song of peace. Sim Shalom.
Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Chen v'chesed v'rachamim Chen v'chesed v'rachamim Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael Amecha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha
You turn to page 253. We now have finished praying for peace. We are now praying for peace of mind, peace of health, of body, of spirit, of those who are ailing. And if you have names of people you would like to add to the Misha Berach list, as I read the names that are on our list, I will pass my hand over the congregation. And if you have a name that you need uplifting for, please give us your names. And those of you online, please type in those who you are praying for. We are praying for the returning health of Bob White, the Callahan family, and Elizabeth Gomez.
Rosa Barrueta.
Leslie Rue, Jude Megan Kendall.
Arlene Heimel
Luann Francis.
John, are you praying for anyone? John? Yeah.
No.
Okay, just wonder.
I pray for everybody.
Thank you.
Michael Walensky, Darcy Georgius, and Stephanie Carr. Joshua Hanson. Timo, Francis Lane and Dorothea Wolf.
John Howell.
We pray for their continued health, for them to find health, and their continuing health also. As we sing Misha Berach, but not the one that's in the prayer book. Go ahead. like to ask the president of Sisterhood to come up and give us words of wisdom.
I'm a little nervous, so bear with me. I just want to say welcome and thank everybody for being here today. But before I jump into this week's Parsha, I wanted to take a moment to talk about where I was this past weekend. I had the honor of representing Temple Mount Sinai Sisterhood at the Women of Reformed Judaism Pacific District Convention in Seattle, technically Bellevue. The theme, reimagining traditions, finding harmony and balance, and it did not disappoint. Those convention leaders really worked hard, and I could tell. As we were electing a new board, updating our bylaws to have a more inclusive language, talked about budgeting programs to remove financial barriers for participating sisterhood on all levels, it dawned on me how lucky I was to be there, to be part of that. This was only compounded further with the workshops like Communal Living by Rabbi Kira Stein, who acknowledged the way we do Judaism today will look different for generations to come. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. If anything, we need to address it with the understanding that it will be difficult, but it will be worth it to keep spirituality in Judaism going. I also was reminded how taking care of oneself is just as important as making sure I keep the passion as a leader and fostering the leaders of tomorrow going. That when geese fly, they fly in a V formation. They often take turns leading one another so no one takes it on alone. And with that, I am thankful for Ellen Goodman and Violet Shari, who led in putting together tonight's service and making these wonderful pamphlets so I could take the time to go to this convention. Continue, WRJ acknowledge, as always, at every event I've gone, that we need to, that being anti-racist, welcoming the stranger, and helping everyone requires action, requires training on an individual level. The organization is working very hard to power and everything in their power to combat any racism in their organization. They provide training, especially in things like inherited unconscious bias. I can go on and on and on, especially about the Yes Funds, the fundraising we did to help all the community, and I will in future dates. But in the end, I left. But in the end, the leaders, especially many of the past Pacific District presidents, made sure I had the resources that I knew where to turn to bring these things back to our community. And during our last luncheon, many of the attendees, especially newbies, that's why I have a B on, took the time to reflect and talk about what they were taking away from the convention. I came out of it with a grateful heart, especially for those who led before me and continue to support me. The last two leaders in our sisterhood have been a vital part of my growth as a leader and in my Judaism, keeping our sisterhood and temple going during pretty challenging times. Tina Wolf, who couldn't be here today, brought me on before I even had stepped to Judaism in my heart, because she knew I still had a part to play. Naomi Estrada set the foundation and made sure I had what I needed to enter my first year as president. Both have a current hand in the formation of my board. My vice president, Letty Stevens, my treasurer, Donna Leffman, my secretary, Lisa Wolf, my college connection chair, Donna Pleasant, my Shia Herman, who does our senior cards. You all amaze me with your contributions to our sisterhood, and for that I am thankful. Now, both Tina and Naomi have moved on with this position with WRJ and continue to put our name on the map and support our sisterhood. I feel lucky to be part of the history and hope to continue to foster future leaders as they have done for me, continuing for generations to come, because as you know, we would not, as I often am reminded, we would not have a temple without sisterhood. Jumping into this week's Torah, there's a connection with gratitude, I feel. Like the past weekend, we did get to go to a Shabbat service, and there were 3 versions of the Parsha provided. I got to hear 2 of them. It was the start of the new book, Leviticus. Both women acknowledged the challenge of the text, but there is a reason why it stood the test of time. One of this interpretation was from a young woman named Liz Carty from Temple Mount Sinai, where we had our services. She talked about the importance of sacrifice in the creating of communal living. That cut off that sacrifice in case of time and energy, and sometimes resources to attend services. But they build connection, they build communal living. When we take the time to come to services, whether online, whether in person, whether in events, whatever way we can feel Judaism, it matters. So, thank you for that. And connecting with God requires that sort of communal living. We can't do this in a void. And I appreciated that because for me, part of my Judaism comes from communal living. Now, connecting it to this week's portion, I dived into a commentary by Shira Hesh-Kohler, hopefully I got that right. She asks, why does the Torah require gratitude, an offering accompanied by loads of bread? She points out that unlike any other sacrifice, the new law of Korban Todah, hopefully said that right, sacrificial offering of gratitude brought to the ancient temple, this unique service is not done to atone sin, but for gratitude. It is done to show thanks for recovering from illness or surviving peril's journey, including my own. I was really apprehended, I'm going to tell you, about going to the convention because I was going far away from my home, from my family, and I was traveling most of it on my own. But it was worth it. With any travel, I believe it's worth it. And I found, being separated from my family and my community, how much more I appreciated it. But Shira goes on to say a lot about bread, so I'm going to go back to that. If you love bread, you'll understand in a little bit. A lot of bread was sacrificed during this time, both leavened and unleavened bread, posing the question, why did we need both kinds? Why do we need both leavened and unleavened bread? If you ever made challah, you know it's labor intensive, it takes time, right? Unleavened bread is different. Matzah, we're about to have a whole week of that. It doesn't take time. It's quick, it's fast, and it stopped halfway through its process of being able to be risen. But both have value. Both represent different states of way we approach God. Sometimes we are risen and we are puffed up like a beautiful challah. Other times we're just a flat cracker of matzah. I see when I reflect in the ways I approach life, I bet many of you will understand. Most of the time when I approach parenting or leading, I'm fortunate to be in the state of a nice breaded challah. But there are plenty of times when I'm just a plain matzah. Both times I chose to still show up as present as possible, even when I knew I was going to be possibly torn up, just like challah does. But both provide value because I'm still showing up. And I want to challenge all of you to show up in any way you can, spiritually, in person, for your community. And know that whether you are a croissant, gluten-free, you matter, because everyone loves bread. I do hope most of you will find value in sisterhood. There's always time to still join, and if you want to learn more about WRJ, please approach me, anyone on my team. We want to be here for generations to come. And I just want to say thank you for choosing me to lead. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Wait, stay. I would like to call up any member of Temple that's a member of Sisterhood right now to come up and stand around the table.
Over there. Also invite anyone who hasn't sent in her membership.
Oh, and anyone who has not sent in her membership but would love to join Sisterhood,
We can talk about it later. Come on up.
come on up.
Yeah, you're a part of Sisterhood. Sorry. She does a better job now.
Izzy's up here.
Future sister. Molly.
Okay, here they come.
Los Grandes, let's go. Future leaders.
Oh, please rise.
Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'rasavanu, v'shavah kodsho, v'ahava uvratzon hinilanu, zikaron l'maaseh bereshit, ki hu yom tehillah lemikrahei kodesh, zecher l'tziat mitzrayim, ki banu b'harta yotanu kidashta nikomin v'shavat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashavat. Amen. L'chaim.
Please remain standing and turn to page 282. You guys can go back to your seats, but remain standing. For the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tet gedula liyotzei bereshit, shelo asanu k'geyei haratzot, velo osamanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo asam helkenu kachem, ve'goralenu kehorahana, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachamim u'modim lifnei melech malkei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. V'nemar ve'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yiheh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
You may be seated. There's one last reading in the booklet. Reading number 8. Shekhinah, we know your presence is here with us. You are the peace and joy of our days. But we also know that you dwell in the depths of suffering and of sorrow. We pray now for the hungry, for the homeless, for the victims of war catastrophe, for the sick and dying, for those oppressed by racism. And we pray for our fragile earth and for all her inhabitants, for life itself. We ask your blessing, all those engaged in Tikkun Olam, the healing and transforming of our planet. Open our hearts and stir us to struggle on behalf of your creations. May each of us, all of us, become your limbs and your hands, bringing healing and compassion, social justice, love, and peace to your world. We remember those in our community who have passed in the past 30 days. We remember Anne Frank Spear and Maria Dembovicius. And those whose anniversary happened this Shabbat. And if there are people that you remember, and if you can, please rise. Bobby Abramson, Mildred Applebaum, Philip Bargman, Rachel Burr, Mildred Blumenfeld, Stephen Howard Blumenthal, Dorothy Blumkin, Harry Bretler, Max Bretler, Jacob Kalischer, Luke Sitterman, Bella Dillon, Anne Grace Doris, Ross Fruit Handler, Charles Given, Valerie Glass, Rhoda Gordon, John Grosbeck, Marta Joanna Hamlin, Irving L. Herman, Nathan Hale Keller, Galina Krenovich, April Leah Krupp, Henry Cooler, Rhoda Labowitz, Lillian Lazovic, Evelyn Leff, Milt Levinson, Daniel Michael Levin, Yona Laser, Rose Miller, Nathan Podus, Harold Potash, Alice T. Pervin, Lloyd Z. Pervin, Lawrence Reedman, Jeffrey T. Robbins, Catherine Janet Mears Rosenbaum, Fanny Rosenwasser, Myrtle Rubin, Elvira Rubenstein, Amy W. Sanders, Abe Schroeder, Jack Schwartz, Vivian Siegel, Sidney Stern, Susan Strelitz, Robert Sunshine, Ann Offsay Weiss. And let's all rise together to recite the Kaddish for those who have no one to recite the Kaddish for them. We are on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah be'alma devrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yamechon uv'chayei dekol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei omaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'rihu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiram mi'ama v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. You may be seated.
Oseh shalom b'mramav Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael
I'd like to ask my sister, Susie Novick, to come, who's representing the board, to come and give us announcements.
Good Shabbos, everybody. Thank you very much to Ellen and Violet and all of the people here who participated, especially the leaders of Misty, who are women. And I'm just so heartened by the women who came up here to celebrate the Kiddush. There are 3 or 4 generations there of women who have been involved in this congregation and who have provided it with a vibrancy that helps it to continue. And Yasher Koach on your Devar Torah. I'd like to thank Ellen and Violet for coordinating this, for Mindy and Dario Vasquez for his wonderful playing, for my fellow board member Manny Scheidlauer, and Vladek Krajinovic, who greeted you upon your arrival. I'd like to thank the following Shabbat sponsors, Vladek Krajinovic and Olga Kosheleva in memory of Galina Krajinovic, Stuart and Sherry Schwartz in honor of Tibor Schechner's special birthday, Simon and Grace Burr in memory of Rachel Burr, Linda Fruithandler in memory of Ross Fruithandler, and Barbara Scher and Ron Blumenfeld in memory of Mildred Applebaum. Passover is coming, everybody, and there are all sorts of ways to involve yourself in this wonderful holiday. The Passover cooking class is on April 1st at 5 p.m. The Pesach Festival morning service is April 6th at 10:30, and if you haven't been to one of the festival services, it harkens back to the 3 or 4 times a year when Jews would go to Jerusalem to make sacrifices, and it's a really wonderful service. The second Passover Seder with musician Jake Schulman-Ment is on April 6th at 6 p.m., and you can check your email to RSVP and get more information. Next Friday, Tat Shabbat is happening at 5:30 p.m. Please come. Save the date, Havdalah in concert with Jake Schulman-Ment, the musician in residence, which will be on Saturday, April 8th at 6 p.m., and the weekly email will have more information. A very important save the date is the annual meeting of the Mount Sinai congregation is April 19th at 6 p.m. in Schwartz Hall. Please come and learn what is happening at Temple and be part of the important proceedings of the annual meeting. And then lastly, save the date for the last weekend of April, where Temple is joining with Western Hills United Methodist Church for a weekend of worship, teaching, and fellowship with Dr. Amy Jill Levine. And there is information in the weekly email, and you'll be getting additional information to RSVP for meals and activities during that weekend. It should be really wonderful. The folks at Western Hills United Methodist Church are very excited about the weekend. Have a wonderful week and have a wonderful Passover.
Before we sing our last song, I would like to remind everyone to follow us into Zalanka for Kiddush. If you have children, there are enough younger people here who have children, and those of you who have grandchildren who go to Sunday school, please don't miss out on the Passover family experience we will be having on Sunday. It's going to be awesome. And I would like to put an expletive in there because that's how awesome it's going to be. It is something that we have never done before. There's so many of us who've gotten together and brainstormed this, along with Mindy, who's leading, she's leading the force. Thank you. And please come. Please come. It's going to be fantastic. And I don't want to spoil anything, but come. These are also gifts for you if you would like to take these home to, read the poetry at leisure. I think it's just important to share liturgy with people who never will get a chance to have additional liturgy in their homes. Even though some of it is liturgy. It's based on Torah or based on prayers. So please rise as we end this wonderful service with Oseh Shalom. Page 343 if you don't know what button.
Oseh Shalom Bimroma Hu Ya'aseh Shalom